Rochester City Court Judge Van White has been admonished for what the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct calls an appearance of bias.
The judicial panel cited three instances that led to the warning made public today. In response, Judge White says, lesson learned, but adds it doesn't change who he is as a person.
I've owned up to behavior that might put at risk the perception that judges are not neutral and detached. That is fundamental to our system.
Two of the three acts in question took place shortly after Van White became a Rochester City Court judge.
The moment of silence happened within a week of me being sworn in.
It was July 2022. The city was gripped by the fatal shooting of RPD officer Anthony Mazurkowitz. Judge White held a moment of silence in court prior to the arraignment of Kelvin Vickers, who was later convicted of the murder of Officer Mazurkowitz and two other men. The second offense took place after a 3-year-old was hit by a stray bullet in Rochester.
I participated in what's called a human chain of silence. Basically, people in the northeast side of the community saying, no mas.
The third offense happened years earlier when then-attorney White offered advice to people in the community on a local radio station.
For years, 15 years, I was on WDKX, and I'd like to think that uncle, that relative that people did not have in their family who could give them some guidance and advice. And
the advice was also posted on social media and included tips on how to avoid a beating like the one Rodney King endured at the hands of LA police in the early 90s. His post included the phrase pack of wolves, referring to certain police encounters.
And I own that. It was legal advice, and it should not have been given. It was appropriate at the time because I was a lawyer, but not appropriate because someone might come upon my website, and apparently somebody found it buried way deep. But no matter how they found it, it was legal advice, and it's not proper for judges to give legal advice.
Judge White says he's learned his lesson. He says he knows that being a jurist is different than any other system he's worked in over the past 4 decades, whether it's the school system, the mayor's office, or as a defense attorney.
But what I didn't realize, to be quite honest, Teresa, is that I needed to more comprehensively assess how I had to be different.
So now Judge White says there are other ways a judge can allow people to feel the justice system is fair and just. He points to a recent job fair held at the Hall of Justice and future plans for a mentoring program. White's term ends December 2032.